the knowledge you're going to gain is worth millions. My name is Joanna Miles, and I own Exquisite Tax and Financial Services. I've been in business for approximately I've been in the industry for 12 years. I've been in business on my own for the last 5 years, and this will be my first year with SBA.
Share a bit about, how you were set up before as a service bureau, or quote unquote service bureau.
Okay, so I've done this a couple of times, tried to be a service bureau. So my first experience was, to say the least, it wasn't anything much to talk about. My experience before, I did not have complete control of when I got my funds. So I had a service bureau fee set up. I had multiple offices set up under me, and I had multiple people that I essentially, we're going to say, recruited to work under me, where I took care of all their needs as far as going to doing their troubleshooting and things like that. But I didn't have complete control over how my money came in. I had upcharges that I really wasn't aware that were there. So you sign a contract and you say, okay, well, I want my service bureau fee to be $50 a return. That's for all my offices across the board. Some people are different. Some people want splits. I don't like math. I just want a solid number, okay? So $50 a return, someone does 200 returns, I made $10,000. That's where I'm thinking in my head. Well, I'm not knowing that working with these other companies, they're adding $10 extra on the service bureau fee that they keep on every return. Then they've upcharged on transmission fees up to $25 to $59 per transmission, depending on the office. So I look like the bad guy, where my other offices, we'll call them my EROs, we're gonna call them my EROs because they were coming on my word, were being upcharged upwards as $130 extra than what I recruited them with.
Right.
And then I'm not seeing that on the end.
Right.
Even with the overcharge with the audit protection and things like that, if you do upsell and you add $40 to your audit protection, I fought to get my money. And it wasn't something that I could control because it wasn't coming to me. I wasn't the owner of the money because I wasn't the actual service bureau. I was a SSB, we gonna call that a sub-service bureau. Someone else ran me. I just thought I was running myself. But with SBA, I'm actually able to take care of all of that. And I don't have to worry about where my money's going or if there's any hidden fees or anything like that.
Right. So let's unpack that a bit, because a lot of people that'll be watching this may not really understand, like, all right, what's out there. But I think this specific conversation will benefit people that, maybe think they're service bureau, but have those limitations. So, to clarify for everybody, Joanna was already a service bureau, but she didn't have access to key service bureau technology. I want to say technology.
Yeah.
It's a good word for it. So she told her clients, hey, this is my fee, a $50 service bureau fee. And she did not know that there was going to be other charges on top of what she was thought that the software would charge and what she wanted to add. So that causes a big storm when it's time for tax season and you're like, wait, what's this $140? I thought you said it was only going to be 50 plus whatever. And now you have no control over it. So kind of to unpack that, on just the revenue per product level, if based on the numbers you said, right? So they were adding 10, they were probably adding another 25 or more, right? So whatever that was, $39, I think, depending on the scenario, some had different transmission fees. On just by doing the switch, and we'll talk about other reasons why you may have wanted to come over to Service Bureau. So I remember when we spoke the first time, just the deal made sense, right? Like it wasn't about, like, you're familiar with the software already, you're familiar with the front end stuff, very limited access to the back end stuff, but the numbers made sense. So in the way that yours was structured, if you did nothing else, you didn't go sign up a bunch of new people, you didn't go do a bunch of new returns, you're effectively making an additional $39 per product without having to do anything different.
Correct.
Right. And now, and we'll talk probably maybe a little bit more, just what access you have on the back end, because you don't have to, you kind of touched on it, and we'll just go off on tangents here. You kind of touched on it. You're like, and maybe it was before this call or in the pre-call, you couldn't do simple things like go set up an office, right? You couldn't do simple things.
All my bank apps for me. And then there was also like other little rules, like to stay a service bureau, your EROs need to do at least 200 returns, or you owe us an extra $300 at the end of the year.
Got it. So they were requiring minimum volumes from your subsites, from your EROs, so that otherwise you would have to pay extra fees or licensing fees or things like that, right? But what really made you interested in wanting to look at our program?
If I'm being honest, that first call was like, dang, they just want some more money. I just cannot spend any more money, because it was like, oh my God, this is a headache, right? I don't want to build another team. I don't want to build a new office. I don't want to have to worry about getting my old returns. I don't want to have to worry about any of that, because those are the things that you look at. You're like, hey, I can't just click back and see what I did previously with these clients. And I've been using this system for 4 years and I kind of don't want the change. So that first call was like, okay, I can do it, but then I'm still gonna have to pay for access to my old systems. You know what I mean? So I could go back and look. And the great thing about with SBA, when I went through the Service Bureau Accelerator call, that first call, Ross was talking and I was just like, I'll call you, I'll think this over, right? It's the automation. The automation continued to remind me, like, you said you were gonna do this later, you need to do this now. And then so that second call, I was just like, you know what, I'm ready to pay. Don't worry about it, because I started to read what was actually given to me. Like there was a call and you guys were going through the slides, but then you sent us a recording of with an attachment of what we were looking for. And I'm one of those people, I like to read what I'm getting into, right? So I got to reading, and then when I read through, and this is not to say anything about anyone else or any other program, but I tried it with so many different companies because my goal was to grow. Being a service bureau was something that was my goal, and it's my goal to create other service bureaus as well, to build something else. But I am one of those people that it just made sense. It's one fee and you have complete control. It feels really good to open my software and see my logo in the corner, not someone else's. It feels good to open my software and know that if this doesn't go right, I have 5 or 6 people I can ask. The community of being a part of Service Bureau Accelerator is amazing. Like, it really is, because there are stupid questions, but there are no stupid questions.
Well, no, yeah, yes and no, right?
Yeah.
So, no, let's talk about that. You just brought up the community, and that's usually something I'll ask. You're pretty active in there. We actually did a meetup in your neck of the woods. So like you're basically like the pseudo moderator. People actually tag you when they have questions.
Right.
But how has the community been? Like the way when we built it, you know, one of the goals for the community is like having one spot where service bureaus can talk about service bureau related things. Because that doesn't exist in the industry. Everyone seems to be very hidden about things. They don't want to share anything. So how's your experience been with the community?
With the community, the experience has actually been very great, because you never know what's going to be asked or what you were thinking. It's certain things like, for instance, is it okay if I say people's names?
Sure.
Okay, like, so for instance, Kat killed my timeline. I mean, she killed my timeline, and we're all in the same city, but none of us felt like we were in competition with each other. I'll say that the community wasn't built to compete with each other.
Right.
She did her thing. Everybody does their own thing, but we also assist people. Like Tia assisted me. Like we logged on each other's calls and hey, you need to fix this part of your presentation or this part of your presentation. When you're starting something new, you're not always aware of what you can do to be better. About the Service Bureau Accelerator community is we're telling you how you can be better. And if you implement it, you implement. If you don't, you don't. No one's judging you. It's more so a, hey, thanks, I got this. Even with me and you had a conversation and you're like, hey, you should do this, this, and this. It'll grow your business. Whether you know it or not, I did a whole new business structure because what you said made sense. It may not make sense right now, but it makes sense next tax season. So that's what we're gonna work on. We're gonna work on this. And just the training, the timelines you guys give us. You guys give us timelines to, this should be done this should be done. And let me tell you something, it's so easy. If anybody's watching this, they're going to literally give you everything you need. The problem is, as people, we want to ask questions before we actually finish the assignment. Right. If you finish the assignment, you won't have any questions because they literally answer every question you have. They help you in every aspect, from getting your business to showing you how to recruit, how to market, when's the best time to market, what's the best first sentence to put in your Facebook post, how to grab people, how does Facebook algorithm work. I didn't know any of that before this. I just was putting up posts.
Right.
They would get likes, they got likes, they didn't. No, marketing training was put up the algorithm, put up this, just say this. Everybody that comments, you comment back, now their friends can see it.
Yeah.
What? So that's how it works. And then you learn everybody you interact with on Facebook now starts to see your posts. So you're creating more interactions, right? As you're creating more, I don't know.
So, sorry for the cut, bit of technical issues, but where we were at was the interaction on your Facebook post. I think you're talking about the fast action strategy and like, hey, let's build some buzz. Let's get something going.
It was like, those things are something that no one's going to share with you. I'm going to just be honest with you. As far as, like I said, the community, everybody, we want everyone. We're like a whole family. It's cute. Some of us have met each other in person. Some of us have never.
Right.
We're going to get tagged. You're going to get tagged. You're going to, hey, this is a great idea. Hey, can you share your contract? Because people have problems with contracts and don't know what exactly to word them with, but we didn't mind sharing, and that was kind of cool. And I'm on social media, I'm no lie, I'm in like 100 tax groups. Yeah. I'm in SBA more than I'm in any of them. and I get good information from the other tax groups, but you could see the cattiness, or I don't really want you to grow, I want you to envy me type of superiority in some of the
business if you don't know the answer to this question.
Exactly. You know, and there are some, like I said, there are no stupid questions, but sometimes there are stupid questions. There are some that are like, wait, did you not read that? Like that was line one. But no one jumps at people like that. We literally clarify for other people, and we help each other out. That's all I can really say.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, those are all good points. And, you know, from what I've seen in the industry, and like there's a good question to ask you since you're part of another service bureau group before. I haven't seen anywhere in the industry where any like say you have a relationship with the service bureau like you were with before, or anyone out there's no one sharing any kind of information on how to actually grow the business. Like the most you'll get is a website, maybe a website, and that's it.
or there are these groups that want you to pay to things like, oh, I have information, join my webinar for $200 and I'll tell you the same things I just read in Article C, Section 4 on the IRS website.
Right.
Like, I'm going to pay you $200 for something that you literally are reading off the IRS website, but you don't know that until you get into the group. And then, so with Service Bureau Accelerator, with our group, we don't do things like that. If we got the information, we share the information, and that's the great thing about it.
Right. So you talked a bit about, you know, like all the training, you touched on some of the marketing stuff. You know, there's a lot of trainings, and you said some people will utilize it, some people won't. We have a lot of coaching calls. We're gonna have a lot coming up this summer too, summer of 2022. We got a lot of cool things lined up. And I know that, for you, you kind of had your business in a certain way. You said, hey, maybe you got a couple ideas from me on a conversation or something. But that being said, now that you're set up as a proper service bureau, right? You see that you have full access, you have control. You don't really need to have a middleman in between. Certainly, yes, if you need help with certain things, yes, we are here. But can you share with us maybe some of your goals going into the next year now that you're like, hey, you have your foundation?
So this year was my trial run. It really was. I didn't really push it. I didn't do anything because I was like, I don't want to get like 10, 12 offices and this doesn't work out. Everyone is skeptical. I sell software all year long. So one of the great tools that was linked with us was Tax Nitro. So I have a Tax Nitro funnel out there where I have a website that I don't do anything but sell software on that website. Next year, throughout this year, during this season, probably in the next couple weeks, I'm gonna amp that website up a little bit more. So it's gonna be rotating. And then I'm gonna do way more marketing. I'm gonna get way more things going. I'm gonna do the tax box program that everyone seems to love, but it's gonna actually have things in it, not just me in a picture with a box and you're not really getting it.
Get some,
you know what I mean?
You're gonna take advantage. We have a bunch of training that shows you how to
and then
create an offer, package, present the whole nine.
Yeah, so and this is the greatest thing about all of that is I don't feel like I'm gonna be doing it alone. So where I'm gonna be doing this, true enough, I don't feel like I'm gonna be doing it alone because I'm gonna be able to submit my presentation. Hey, y'all, check my presentation out this year and see if it's good. I'm gonna record myself doing it. I'm gonna send it to somebody and I'm gonna say, hey, is this good enough? Do I look interesting?
Yeah. Well,
how is that working out for
like
you?
People have sent us presentations and literally one of the person, I'm not gonna mention names, literally looked down like, no, garbage, change this. You're not talking about yourself here. Like do all these little things. And then you'll see like, it just starts clicking, right? It just starts. So yeah, that happens a lot. Submit the stuff to us. Well, we'll take a look. Some people in the group, like some people you saw it in the group, they'll share it within the group. Hey, what do you guys think? Right.
Yeah,
so
I shared a couple of flyers and it's like, you don't have a call to action. I'm like, dang, I didn't even realize it. I don't even have a phone number, a link, or nothing on this.
Nothing.
It's cute, but I don't have what I need. It's not telling people what to do. It just has a picture of me on it.
Yeah. Or a bunch of words that don't mean anything.
They don't mean anything if they don't know what to do with it. But that's the great thing about it. And I really can't wait. I can't wait for the mentor calls. I can't wait for the training. I can't wait for any of those things. I'm really hyped about next season. Like I really am. And I want to get some bigger offices under me. But I want to be able to offer something somebody's not offering. Like some people are offering, like I'm offering a flat rate service bureau fee. Mm-hmm. A lot of places aren't. A lot of people are wanting a percentage just of whatever you're doing. So I'm just going to look at what everyone else is doing and what's going to make me better and what's going to make me stand out. And I know you guys are going to help me with that. So I'm very amped up about that. And not saying I want to quit doing taxes, but if I could sit at home like some of y'all and just make $300,000 selling software, I'm here for it.
For sure. And you're saying something interesting, and these calls don't really go this deep, but and you'll pick up on this once you get to that point. Like you mentioned, hey, I just sell software. Part of our program is really like we're trying to position you to not just sell software, because what you're trying to accomplish 100% attainable, right? But when you look at what everyone else is doing out there in the industry, outside of our group, like out there, all they're doing is repackaging software. They're not providing any value adds, right? So for you to go out and be better, you don't have to do that much more. It's literally like you just take, and we talk about this in the training, right? Hey, lay out all of the stuff. Like you're very organized. You have these systems and everything already for your business. You just take that and package that, because there's a lot of EROs out there that probably do hundreds of returns that are not as organized as you.
I literally just talked to somebody and she was like, I couldn't even ask my last service bureau lady a question.
Right.
Wait.
That's the
I'm here
thing.
to answer your questions.
Exactly.
Once you out there just swimming by yourself in the deep end and the sharks are circling and you don't know how to get out, my job. And that's where I feel like I'm going to stand out, because I do offer weekly mentorship calls. I do offer things like that, but I got all of that from you guys. Well, I offered it to my agents anyway. Yeah. So now I don't just offer it to my agents, I offer it to my service bureau and their agents.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
Those kumbaya calls where everybody can vent about what taxpayer made them mad
or did that. But here's the thing, right? That little thing that you're like, I do anyway, is what people don't do anyway at all. So you have to package that as part of, hey, this is what I get, right? And that's part of that whole crafting your offer, organizing, packaging, and presenting that as a cohesive package.
Right.
So
that's what's great. Like, I will say that's something that you guys have really instilled in, like, I think all of us, like, I think it's what, 300 of us, and we're all like
almost.
Yeah, it's almost. So, but we're all kind of like trying to figure it out, but we're figuring it out together. So I just think it's like a cute little family, and we're making it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our goal, like you've heard on the calls, is like, look, we just want you guys to make a ton of money. We'll just get a little piece of that. we got a little piece of that action. Right.
You got 10 people making a ton of money. You're just getting a little bit. You're making a ton too. So it's okay.
Yeah, not as much as you guys, but collectively maybe. But anyway, so to wrap it up, actually, one more question before we wrap it up. We have our own tech support for you as a service bureau, right? We have, so obviously we talked about training and the kind of support you get on the training aspect to help you grow. But, through the season, shit happens, stuff comes up, or like, hey, I have this question about this, or I don't know how to do this in the software, this, that. Did you take advantage of, did you reach out to us on support on anything like that for like your software side? And how was your experience with that stuff?
Sean is great when it comes to that stuff, but I really didn't have any big software issues because I already knew how to work the software.
Right.
I have, called support before just to not bother you guys about little things. Like, for instance, some states require you to have an EIN and not your social on the paper on your office. So one of my offices, she didn't have an EIN, so we had to get her one so that she can process state taxes for that particular state. But those are things that I had to learn. I've learned over the years. But I do see where other people have, like, you guys are right on it, Johnny on the spot. So I even get tagged in some of those, and I try to be as fast as I possibly can.
I have to pay you to be on the support team next year.
Hey, I'm here for it. I'm ready, because
awesome.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, let me answer her real quick. I've taken to the point where I got 2 screens. I got Facebook up on one screen just in case I'm tagged. All
right, one final question. So people that are gonna watch this, they're probably watching this saying, hey, was this Service Bureau Accelerator? Is it too good to be true? Do I really want to do it? I don't know. What would you say to anybody that's on the fence or looking at joining our program?
Do it. You can't. The thing is, I'm one of those. I'm a doer, so I'm gonna always tell you to do it. Because even if you fail, you can't say you never did it before. But it could be one of the most successful things you've had, especially when it comes to knowledge. Everything you do is a learning experience, and this right here, even if you decide this isn't for me and you pay for it, the knowledge you're gonna gain is worth millions.